On Friday, somewhat out of the blue, Donald Trump posted this on his social media platform. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them. Now, from the get-go, we all know that wasn't true, so we set out to debunk it. And honestly, I thought there might be a little more legwork involved in spelling out the web of connections between Donald Trump and Project 2025. But then I realized all you have to do is look at the table of contents of Project 2025. Let's literally go through it. The author of each section is listed right here, and I'm just going to list them. Forward, A Promise to America, written by Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation. Trump has name-checked the Heritage Foundation several times, including just a few months ago when he wrote that Roberts, quote, should keep going and get the word out. Chapter 1 on the White House office was written by Rick Dearborn, Trump's former White House deputy chief of staff. Chapter 2 on the executive office of the President of the United States was written by Russell Vought, who is Trump's former director of the Office of Management and Budget. Chapter 3 on managing the bureaucracy was co-written by former advisor to Ronald Reagan, Donald Devine, along with Dennis Dean Kirk, a Trump nominee for the chair of the Merit Systems Protection Board, and Paul Dans, a Trump appointee to the U.S. Office of Personnel Management. Paul Dans is the director of all of Project 2025. Okay, Chapter 4 on the Department of Defense, written by Christopher Miller, who was Donald Trump's acting Secretary of Defense from November 2020 through the end of his term. Want me to keep going? Okay. Chapter 5 on the Department of Homeland Security, written by Ken Cuccinelli, Donald Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security. Chapter 6 on the Department of State, written by Kieron Skinner, the Director of Policy Planning for Donald Trump's State Department. Roger Severino, known to be aggressively anti-abortion rights and anti-LGBTQ plus rights, and who served as Donald Trump's Director of the Office of Civil Rights for the Department of Health and Human Services, well, he wrote the chapter on that department. Peter Navarro, who served as Trump's top trade advisor, he's currently in prison for contempt of Congress, authored part of the chapter on trade. The more you look in here, the more you find. If you look at the Heritage Foundation's website, you can see that the associate director of Project 2025 is a former special assistant to Donald Trump. Here's the Heritage Foundation's press release. Quote, John McEntee, former director of the White House Presidential Personnel Office in the Trump administration, is joining the 2025 Presidential Transition Project, Project 2025, as a senior advisor. Some of the organizations listed as part of Project 2025's advisory board are led by top Trump allies, like the former Trump chief of staff, Mark Meadows, who now leads the Conservative Partnership Institute, and the former Trump advisor, Stephen Miller, who now is president of America First Legal. I literally don't have enough time to list every connection between Donald Trump and Project 2025, but I can absolutely confidently say that Donald Trump's claim that he, quote, knows nothing about Project 2025 and has, quote, no idea who's behind it, end quote, is, how do we say it in Canada? Complete and utter BS.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.